Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the fuck back. It is I, your Lord and Savior, Lord Dragonoff, back with another AOT reaction. Now, this particular reaction is a special one, guys, because in my previous video, as you just see, that just popped up on the screen, almost hit me in the goddamn head, but it just popped up on the screen. That particular video, guys, is getting views and is consistently getting views and is getting likes, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in and consistently watching that. But a particular viewer by the name of Miko19, shout out to you, recommended this video that I'm currently about to react to right now from another content creator by the name of Biting Berries. They said that they would love to hear my take on it and in regards to what they're going to say. And guys, this is the type of stuff that I like. This is the type of stuff that I love. Please comment if you have other videos in relation to whatever video I post. If you want to see my reaction to it and you want to know my way of thinking on it, please feel free to do what Miko19 did. Just leave a comment below of the video that I post. Let me know if there's something you want me to particularly react to, and I will do so. So yes, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a special one. That's why I wanted to go ahead and get on top of this right now and go ahead and get this done for Miko19. Again, shout out to you. So guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to react to this particular video. I'm pretty excited about it. Again, this is a content creator by the name of Biting Berries. The name of their particular video that I am going to be reacting to is entitled The Choice of Eren Yeager. So I'm assuming that it's going to be more in relation to what led up to him making the choice that he made in the anime. And another thing too that I want to do, Lord Dragonoff is a man slash god. Yes, man slash god of honor. And I will be honoring my word here and honoring the respect that is being asked of this video. This particular video and this particular content creator has asked in the description of the video to remain spoiler free, as they are an anime only watcher, anime only viewer. So by that alone, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay within the realm of that respect, and I am going to only react to the information that is being presented to me on screen from this particular creator. So anybody who's wanting to view, anybody who's wanting to watch, I will leave a link below for the original content that I am going to be reacting to, which is Biting Berries' original video without my commentary, but I'm only going to stay within the realm and the context of the video, and I'm not going to go beyond that in terms of manga and different spoilers like that. Okay? So, we're going to, without further ado, we're going to fucking go ahead and get into it, and we ain't going to waste no motherfucking time. So again, guys, I appreciate it. You all know what to do. You guys need to like, comment, subscribe, and most of all, share. And you want to know why you got to share? Because it's fucking free. Say it with me. It's fucking free. So let's get to it, guys. We're going to go ahead and react to this. This is The Choice of Eren Yeager. Let's check it out.
Attack on Titan has a lot going on. There are so many layers to the story that most of them are not even visible until you're specifically searching for them. This makes understanding the deeper thematic core of the story into a mystery hunt of its own, with the puzzle pieces scattered throughout. You gain a completely new understanding of the show as you gradually peel through each of these layers, noticing the smallest of details, dialogues, minute character expressions, and constantly arrange and rearrange the information until it all fits together. I would like to mention that what I'm talking about here isn't the foreshadowing done in regards to the identities of certain characters or the overarching mystery. Isayama has a certain writing style. He has built AOT in a way where every aspect of the story, every character, their thematic philosophies, every single thing is in thematic unison. So a scene that seems pretty straightforward at first gradually gets thickened and multi-layered the more you consume the story. And the more you watch, the thicker it gets. It is genuinely a one of a.
I will say I do like the I do like the layout of the video. Not gonna lie, I like the layout of the video. Throwing a lot of music in there, but it's all a damn good motherfucking soundtrack if you ask me. But let's continue.
A kind experience to try and understand every single nuance of the story, making some progress, and then marveling about how smart the author must have been to think this all through before getting sucked into your research again. And through experiencing that cycle many times, I noticed and eventually reached an interesting conclusion that pretty much every single scene in this show either runs analogous to or is built around the character arc that our main character, Eren Yeager, goes through. And those scenes in turn help in building the true picture of Eren's character.
立て戦えそれでも前に進まなきゃいけない
During the mission to retake Trust, we see several soldiers putting themselves in danger, countless sacrificing their lives, all in order to protect Eren as he carries the boulder towards the Trust gate. Every soldier that sacrificed himself to support Eren believed it to be the only choice they had to be able to protect the things that were precious to them. All they could do was push all their hopes onto Eren and count on him. And literally burdened by the weight of all those expectations, Eren pushes forward, shoulders those hopes, and plugs the wall. The interesting part is that this small sequence lays the groundwork for the major themes that, moving forward, drive Eren's overarching character arc.
Okay.
This is the first time in the story where he forces himself to fight for mankind. After all, he's responsible to carry the burden of being humanity's only hope.
Sure.
And amidst this, he loses a sight of where his own goals lie. So his story arc is parallel to Ymir's. Or wait, it's parallel to Reiner's. Historia's? Well, the concept of regret also influences his mentality a lot, so his story arc definitely connects with Levi's, and his self-hate also plays some role in the overarching idea of freedom, so also count in Keith, Sasha, maybe Kenny? Learning to expand his worldview, much like Gabi, his nature to retaliate and overcoming fear, like Grisha and Irvin. Eren's character is essentially derived from the stories of other characters in the show. He's the point where every single one of these themes and character arcs converge at. He is the coordinate. We'll come back to this. For now, let's take a...
Okay, I see where he's going. I see where you're going, Biden. I see where you're going, Biden Bears. I see where you're going with that. That's interesting, because if you think about it again from the subtlety of how every other character's smaller arcs kind of converge into Eren himself, like he said, which was actually pretty. I didn't connect that. You know what I mean? I did connect a portion of him actually pretty much kind of giving up. At that point in time, he gave up on his own goal, which again was to destroy and kill all the Titans, right? Because of what happened to his mom. But then he decided, I'm going to become this hero. Can I become this hero and try to help and save humanity and give them hope and stuff like that? So yeah, I do agree with that. But yeah, he did have the that fear of Grisha for sure, because we all know he did. So okay, I see where he's going. Guys, we only 3 minutes in, and they laying down some gems right now. Okay, all right, let's see where we go. Sorry for the interruption. Let's go.
Take a look at the cannonball scene from episode 9 of season 1. Eren finds himself with Mikasa and Armin, surrounded by the soldiers from the garrison.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what he says, how much he tries to prove himself harmless, the fear-stricken soldiers don't trust him. Even after Eren clearly claims to be a human, the garrison head simply says, "Don't think badly of me. I have no choice," as he orders for the cannonballs to be fired. And as Mikasa tries to make an escape with Eren takes the matter into his own hands as he turns into a Titan.
ミカサやアルミン みんなを救いたいなら
Very good scene.
お前はこの力を支配しなくてはならない
Am I delusional, or do the parallels I see really exist? People struck by fear attack another human just because he has the capability to turn into a titan.
Yeah.
And Eren realizes that to be able to protect Mikasa and Armin, he is left with no choice but to change into a monster. And it goes even further. In the extra time he gains from the smokescreen, Eren is forced to make a choice. Either he's gonna trust in Armin and let him convince the fear-stricken crowd, or he is, as he says, gonna go solo.
Yeah.
A recurring motif in Attack on Titan is that of a choice. I consider it to be one of the major parts of the overall thematic core of AOT. Take it as something like the first chapter of Berries' textbook of Advanced Understanding of Attack on Titan Syllabus 2. Later in the Female Titan arc, Eren is forced to make a choice again.
Don't worry, I'm just trying to quickly touch these topics for some familiarity.
He once again has to choose between counting on his Nakama or trusting in his own power.
Right.
And once again, Eren chooses the former and lets the Levi squad handle the Female Titan.
Which was a dumbass choice. Which was a dumbass choice. But, you know, hey, you know. That was a stupid ass choice. I would know. No. Not gonna happen. You know. And, you know, I get it from the standpoint of that there was a reason for that, and it, you know, the reasoning for him choosing that was kind of push the story forward, because in my honest opinion, I believe that if he would have transformed with him plus the Levi squad, they would have took down Annie no problem. You know what I'm saying? I really believe that. But, you know, this was a good kind of a setup for him to become who he was, right? You know what I'm saying? For him to understand what is actually going on. So I get it, but I just think it was a dumbass choice. That's just me.
And once more, the results were not in his favor.
Nope.
And this is when the fear of regret starts to root itself in his mind, as he starts to second guess himself so that he can avoid making the wrong choice, as regrets slowly start breaking his confidence.
俺にはわからない。ずっとそうだ。自分の力を信じても、信頼に足る仲間の選択を信じても、結果は誰にもわからなかった。
Most people don't even have a choice to begin with. They are mere bystanders who can only stand and watch. By not having a choice, I mean they lack the power to bring any sort of change. They merely act because they are pushed by their environments. Most people act because they are pushed by something that isn't their choice. Not something they can control, but instead it is either the world around them or someone else who applies that push. Early Eren is pretty much defined by his frustration of being controlled by the world around him, being weak and unable to bring any change or save anyone. This feeling of powerlessness has had a large impact on his ideology even later down the line. He talks his heart to Falco after seeing him feel incompetent against Gabi, when he sees him feeling powerless. He yells at Hanji, asking her what she could possibly do to stop him from escaping, reminding her of her incapability to do anything. But making a choice is difficult too. When you make a choice, you have to stand up and take responsibility for the outcome. Nobody would choose to go into war if they knew what they would end up going through. The result of a choice is always a mystery. Yet you have to take responsibility. You have to. So if not being able to make a choice is frustrating, and making a choice calls for shouldering the responsibilities of an ambiguous outcome, well then, funny to say it, but trying to have no regrets about your decisions is the only choice you are left with. This is the theme that drives the character of Levi. The weight of a choice, living with consequences, and having no regrets. He is pretty much the face of the series when it comes to really difficult character choices. And what we explore with Levi echoes with every other choice in the series.
In the No Regrets OVA, Levi is offered a chance to live outside the underground in exchange for killing Eren. He is told that no matter if he accepts the job or not, the target would be coming after him. Yet, Levi decides to take up the job only if he is attacked by Eren. He will get his hands dirty only if the target pushes him first. He is afraid of making the wrong choice. I'm definitely going to be called delusional in the comment section, so fuck it. Levi's situation also metaphorically mirrors the current conflict between Paradis and Marley. A chance to live outside in exchange for doing something inhumane. And no matter if they choose to do it or not, the enemy will surely attack them. And they still don't know what the correct choice is. If only I didn't have a choice to make, I would have done the correct thing.
If you don't really have any other choice to begin with, then whatever you do wouldn't be your fault. Whatever you do would be correct. The one in the wrong would be the thing that forced you to act and left you with no choice in the first place. Wrong and cruel would be the world itself. Grisha is first driven by his...
Yeah, that motherfucker lost me on that one. I ain't gonna lie to you, he lost me on that one. Like, he lost me on that one. I'm gonna have to rewind it. I gotta rewind it, and I'm not gonna lie to you. This is the first time I ever had to rewind a video to catch it. Cause okay, all right. So let's rewind that here. He said he's gonna be called delusional. So let's see.
also metaphorically mirrors the current conflict between Paradis and Marley.
Okay.
A chance to live outside in exchange for doing something inhumane.
Okay.
And no matter if they choose to do it or not, the enemy will surely attack them. And they still...
Okay. So yeah, that's true. So yeah, so what he's saying is that even if, regardless of whatever he does, regardless of whatever happens, you know what I mean, like how he, initiated a rumbling. I mean, come on, that's, that was in the anime. So, as long as he initiates that, excuse me, Lord. As long as he initiates that, he's saying that it still doesn't matter. Even if he did or did not, they still would have probably attacked again. So, okay. All right. I'm following.
Still don't know what the correct choice is.
Okay.
If only I didn't have a choice to make, I would have done the correct thing.
If only I didn't have a choice to make, I would have done the correct thing. Which is do nothing. Or unless they're referring to just being like, hey, this is the only option I have, so I'm gonna do it. Okay, I mean, I don't know. Let's just.
If you don't really have any other choice to begin with,
okay,
then whatever you do wouldn't be your fault.
If you didn't have a choice to begin with, whatever you do wouldn't be your fault. How? So my concept is that okay, all right. So if we're gonna deep dive into choice, for what I think this is saying. If we're gonna deep dive into choice itself, my thing is that doing nothing is also a choice. So if you add that alone into whatever scenario is happening, right? You have to make a choice. Like that's the thing that the concept of choice is being kind of said here, is that you you have to make a choice. You can't just not, and whatever you do or do not do is in direct parallel to being your fault based on the outcome of the scenario your choice is affecting. You see what I mean? So if, prime example, let's break it down here. So from my understanding, what I'm seeing is that, let's say there is there's a school bus. There, no, I ain't gonna say that. Let's say this. There is a okay, drinking and driving. All right. So let's say that I decide to go drinking. Right. I know that's my first choice, to go drinking. Okay. So let's say I decide to say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Either at that point in time, I can either go drinking or I can stay at home. Right? So by me staying at home means that scenario never plays out to what could happen if I were to go. So by me staying at home, I'm out of the way. That's a choice that I made still. You see what I mean? So I still made the choice to just stay out of the way. But by me also staying out the way, that diverges and can diverge into another multitude of scenarios. You see what I mean? So let's say I decide to go drinking. I go to drinking with my friends. Then I decide, you know what, I'm going to go driving. And I'm going to go drinking and driving. I go out, start driving, get in a car accident, right? Get hurt really bad, hurt whoever else is really bad, right? My choice was I could have stayed home, right, and been out the way. Or, if that's the case, if I would have stayed home and been out of the way, my friend may have been the one who had the car accident. But by me staying at home and not being in the way, my friend could have been in a more terrible accident and they could have lost their life and the person that they hit. Or if I was there, but I decided to not drink, I could have prevented them from having an accident. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's so many different choices. Choice is very convoluted because so many different scenarios can spawn from that choice. So that's kind of how I'm seeing it. Like, I think it's getting overly convoluted. But let's see where he's going. Let's see where he's going.
Whatever you do would be correct.
The one in the wrong would be the thing that forced you to act.
The one in the wrong would be the one that forced you to act. Okay.
And left you with no choice in the first place.
I mean, you still have a choice. Even if there was somebody in the wrong. If somebody was in the wrong, you still have a choice. You can act if you want to or not. Right? You can still act or don't act. But by you not acting, you are essentially condoning what's happening. Because if it's something that you yourself can stop, then you are actually condoning that to come to pass. Right? So it's still, the choice is still there, regardless. So it will be your fault.
Wrong and cruel would be the world itself. Grisha is first driven by his hatred for Marley. But by the end of the basement reveal flashback, all that he is left with are his sins. The reason Owl chose Grisha in the first place was because he went outside the walls. Because he refused to be confined by the world around him, and because he had the strength to make a choice. He didn't care about whether his choice was right or not.
Sins are enough. Those sins alone are sufficient to drive Grisha because they came as a result of his own choice. What drove Grisha wasn't something he had no choice in, but a direct result of his decisions that he has to take responsibility for, until he gets what he deserves. Until death. Even after death. Until then, he has to keep pushing forward.
お前は妹を連れて壁の外に出た日から、その行いが報われる日まで進み続けるんだ。死んでも、死んだ後も。
So, hopefully by now you're starting to get the basic idea of what the concept of choice means for the story and how it has been integrated into the multiple character arcs with the help of some clever writing. But what brings these character arcs together and gives some tangible meaning to this style of writing, other than just some sneaky foreshadowing, is the character of Eren Yeager. One of the most important scenes in Eren's development is his breakdown at the race chapel. Yeah, the one where Rod tries to inject Historia with some serum while Eren is telling her to eat him. At this point in the story, a major driving force for Eren is his want to be special. To push forward, he had to be drunk on the belief that he is humanity's savior. This driving force had been muddled into an arrogant belief that the people who died because of him died for the greater good. But as he learns the truth behind his Titan powers, and how the powers he has weren't even earned by him, this belief gets shaken. He breaks, realizing how he led hundreds to their deaths without any guarantee that the hearts they gave would be of any meaning. Since the beginning.
No, that's not what it was. Okay, so no. That's not why he broke down in there. That is not why he broke down. That's not why he broke down in there. It had nothing to do with. It had nothing to do with the concept of him thinking that he was, special and he did all that. The reasoning in regards to why he broke down there is because he felt as though, to a degree, that it was his fault. He felt as though that everybody that died was his fault. And he just wanted it to do right, just based in part also because of the fact that he feels as though, well, hey, my dad fucked all this up. Because what he was starting to believe was like, oh, again, yeah. So he was starting to believe the bullshit of, oh, my dad was the reason for this. So since my dad was the reason for this and did all this, man, hey, yeah, go ahead and eat me and get everybody back on track. Because if my dad didn't interrupt this shit, then everybody would have been back on track. Nobody would have had to die because of the decision my dad made. And that's why he felt as though he was insignificant. He just felt like a lot of innocent people died because of him. So let me go back.
The people who died because of him died for the greater good.
Nah, he felt as though they
But
died for
as
no
he
reason.
learns the truth behind his Titan powers, and how the powers he has weren't even earned by him, this belief gets shaken. He breaks, realizing how he led hundreds to their deaths without any guarantee that the hearts they gave would be of any meaning. Since the beginning of the story, ever since he saw Keith's pathetic apology to Moses' mother, Eren wanted to join the Survey Corps. He wanted to achieve something and keep moving forward in the name of those who sacrificed themselves, so that he could give meaning to their loss. If nobody takes the...
That's definitely not true. His main driving force for wanting to join the Scouts is based on. So after rehearing that, it's pretty much similar to exactly what I said too as well. So I do agree to a point. That was the main reason for his breakdown. His breakdown was in the concern that we caused this issue to happen. Right? My life is ridiculous now because of the simple fact I caused so many innocent people to die. Just go ahead and kill me, make it back right. This is in your birthright. If my dad never stole these powers, probably nobody would have fucking died. Right? That's what he's basically was getting at. So to a degree, we're pretty much on the same page with that. But no, his reasoning for joining the Scouts had nothing to do with anybody that lost their lives before. His reasoning for joining the Scouts is because the Scouts represented freedom. And with the Scouts representing freedom from being outside the walls and freedom from doing all this. Because, he said it to his dad. He was like, the reason I want to join is because I want to know what the outside world is like. You know what I'm saying? That was his reasoning for joining the Scouts. It had nothing to do with this time, at that particular time, for the people. That's not the reason he wanted to join the Scouts. He wanted to join the Scouts for freedom, to be able to not be behind the walls and shit like that. That's why he wanted to join the Scouts. It had nothing to do with his, the apology or anything. You know what I'm saying? The apology was just, a byproduct of what he saw. But it had nothing to do with that. He wanted to join the Scouts before that.
He guaranteed that the hearts they gave would be of any meaning. Since the beginning of the story, ever since he saw Keith's pathetic apology to Moses' mother, Eren wanted to join the Survey Corps. He wanted to achieve something and keep moving forward in the name of those who sacrificed themselves, so that he could give meaning to their loss. If nobody takes their jobs, then all their deaths would be of no meaning. When he saw Keith accepting his failures, or when he saw Hannes accepting his cowardness, he...
I mean, to a degree, that's a point. But I believe more so his choice was driven based off of the fact of freedom. He was tired of being inside those walls and this different stuff like that. That's what he was tired of. And he was like, I want to achieve, finding, the freedom so that people who did die, it's just like, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? Oh, fucking well, they just died. But I think his main driving force was freedom. His main driving goal was to not be locked inside the goddamn fucking walls. You know what I'm saying? All his goddamn life. So.
Must have thought something like, I am not going to be like them. I'm going to be better. I'm going to be someone strong who never has to look this pathetic. I'm going to be different. Eren feels pathetic because he couldn't change anything. He feels he wasn't special. Humanity was still in the same position as it was at the beginning of the story, with nothing to show for any soldier's sacrifice. But that wasn't it. He idealized people like Levi and wanted to become everyone's hope. By becoming someone special, he wanted the people around him to accept him.
He started thinking that doing what the whole world acknowledges as great would make his own life meaningful. And because of this,
bit by bit, his unshakable confidence starts breaking. He couldn't disprove those who didn't trust in the Survey Corps. He wasn't able to stand up to his own expectations of himself, and he loses trust in himself. Maybe he isn't meant to be the one to eradicate Titans. After all, he isn't even part of the chosen bloodline. He isn't anyone special.
私はエレンを食って姉さんを取り返す。そして世界の歴史を継承し、この世から巨人を駆逐する。それが私の使命よ。
I would like to emphasize that there's actually a lot more going on in this scene that I would love to talk about, but I also want to add that thinking about the length of this video has been the major source of my insomnia for the entirety of June. Trust is a massive topic in AOT. To put it on a scale, it would be 3 to 4 times more loaded than the topic of choice. Without a doubt, it would be the longest chapter in Barry's textbook of Advanced Understanding of Attack on Titan syllabus 2. Okay, so getting back to topic, we can see a similarity, a common theme here. And it's a recurring one if you look at the entirety of this series. That is the concept of placing the greater good above everything else. Doing the right thing, valuing one's duties over themselves, and that being seen as respectable. In terms of the show itself, a spirit of self-sacrifice. A common understanding among the general consensus that one should always act righteously. The greater good taking over the lack of one's own inner morality. It is hard to explain what exactly I'm referring to, but it's basically wanting to always be objectively correct.
Yeah.
All this is subconsciously fueled by an inner want to be accepted. Or maybe due to pure ignorance, or maybe even because of a misunderstanding that being special gives some sort of meaning to your lives. And I can further dig into this with how we see certain character arcs, like Armin's for example, about not wanting to be a bother, but let's stay focused here. So, on realizing that him being a Titan actively hurts humanity as a whole, Eren tries to do the right thing. All this puts enough mental strain on Eren that he pushes all his responsibilities onto Historia and tells her to eat him, for the sake of the greater good. Those days he remembers fondly, those dreams that mean so much to him, none of that should have happened in the first place. He never deserved any of it. For the greater good, he himself should have never happened. And similarly, on the other hand, we have Historia.
Yeah.
She's being given a mission to inherit the founder and eradicate the Titans.
Yeah.
Of course this is a lie, but even after somewhat realizing that, she still tries to do the right thing. In her mind, that's her duty. That's what she should do. She wants to feel special, and she wants to be seen as a hero, not by someone in particular, but in her own sense of objectivity.
Okay.
Both their actions are, in ways, driven by an underlying want to appeal to the greater good and to do the right thing based upon their preconceived notions, but Eren's is rather subtle or hidden deep, while Historia's is a lot more exaggerated. And that is understandable, given her backstory.
Yeah.
Like, even before, back in Season 2, we see her pretending to be so nice that she would even sacrifice herself for the sake of saving someone.
Yeah.
And Ymir catches her bluff. It's not that she wants to save the other cadet no matter what, it's that she wants to appear like she does. Her choice is selfish. Deep down, she just wants to look like a victim. She just wants to be seen as a tragic hero who died while protecting someone else. She lacks the actual resolve to protect that someone and is ready to sacrifice others and even herself if that would make her special. And so, in Season 3, she forces herself to believe that the only choice humanity has is to do nothing but pray.
Yeah.
Thinking like that, it's easier for her to fool herself off her freedom. To make the simple choice that she's being given.
お前いいことしようとしてるだろクリスタ
Yeah.
お前の生き方に口出す
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. It's very much like, it's very much to the point of, hey, this is, it's very much to the point of like, hey, this is, they are doing things for the greater good. So I do see his point. He's making valid points here. They are as far as the overall arcing theme and the elements of it, they are just themselves. They are just, they're trying to do the greater good situation thing here. They're trying to be that, they're trying to do that. So, I get it. Let's keep going.
私にはないだからこれはただの私の願望なんだがなお前胸張って生きろよ
Ah, that face, bro. There you go. Show the face. Show.
Ultimately,
Damn.
Historia makes an honest decision.
Ah!
She doesn't need to be someone special for humanity or appeal to anyone or anything at the cost of her own freedom to live the way she wants to. Her right to live a life that she would be proud of. She doesn't care if her choice was the right thing to do or not. She simply didn't want to make a choice that she would end up regretting. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to sacrifice herself any longer for a reason she doesn't understand, simply because that would be the right thing to do. And so, Historia throws away Eren's chains, yells how she hates humanity, and even calls Eren out. Exterminating the Titans? What a pain in the ass. Who would volunteer to do something like that? The vow to eradicate the Titans. Now, more specifically, this goal of saving the world originates not from what Eren truly feels, but from his impractical and childish mindset combined with the self-hate caused by it. Like how he thinks that the savior of humanity must be some perfect beacon of hope and not just an average nobody like him. He guilts himself into thinking that it was wrong for him to ever accept his Titan powers, even though he himself always hated the Titans, and tells himself that that's what a weak person would do. Because according to him, logically, from an objective stance, his actions are contradictory. That he's being a hypocrite. Basically, his morality slowly turns into that of Twitter user Eren Yeager. It's because that's what he has learned from the society around him. That special people exist and average men can't achieve anything. He's burdened under the weight of not only the expectations of everyone else, but even to those that now belong to him. He feels a sense of obligation to the world, and because of it, he wants to be judged for all his mistakes, as well as feels a need to atone for them. It is because of that sense of obligation and inferiority to others that indirectly makes him care about becoming someone special.
If everyone is not special, maybe you can't be what you want to be. それぞれのことへいつかに
Oh, wait, sorry, wrong show.
特別じゃなきゃいけないんですか？私はそうは思いませんよ。少なくともこの子は偉大になんてならなくてもいい。人より優れていなくたって。だって見てくださいよ。こんなに可愛い。
Until he lets go of that point of view. Until he learns to make choices of his own, not attempts at being objectively correct fighting for the greater good, but ones that would truly be his own, he can never really be free. I mean, just think about it. You cannot force yourself into a mold and also hope to live your life freely. The statue of Hellas, sure heroic, is also simultaneously empty from the inside. The choice for freedom diverges from that idealistic mold of what a hero is.
Yeah,
it is also another selfish choice. And actively making this selfish choice is difficult for Eren because, like we have established, just like Levi, Eren is afraid of making the wrong choice. Which brings us back here to the collapsing underground. Eren knows that he needs to do something, but instead he resorts to thinking that there is nothing he can do, nowhere left for him to go, and apologizes for it. He does have an idea, but automatically pushes it away, fearing the regret he will face in case it fails.
Yeah, that's true.
He's afraid to face that responsibility.
Well, as far as he's afraid, he's definitely afraid to face their responsibility, especially after this whole revelation of, oh shit, I'm the cause. My dad is the cause of this shit. My dad was the reason for this. Of course, shit, fuck, man. What the fuck am I? What am I? Right? What am I supposed to do? But also, we just can't blame Eren in it. We can't blame Eren in this particular situation either, because if we think about it, the people around him also propped him up to be this special thing based off the circumstances and the situation that transpired. Because he was the only motherfucking human that could transform into a Titan that they've ever seen. So naturally, his ability is what made him special. So he was special to a degree. If we break that down in the simplest forms, he was special because of the simple fact no one else that they knew of at this time could do it. So based on that, they were like, all right, well, they knew, this was in season 2, so they knew that Annie could do it. So they knew about Annie and them. So this was when, they knew about them folks. Because they were down there and did all this stuff. So, yeah. So, at this point, they knew about all that. So, that's why it was like he was doing a little training and getting all this stuff done and getting all that. But that's my thing. It was just one of those things to where the people who were deemed at that point in time to be Titan shifters, they were seen as special because nobody else could fucking do it. So yeah, of course he's gonna break down because again they propped him up as special. His people. So if you got these motherfuckers in your ear letting you know like, hey, this is something weird, this is something new, I ain't never seen nothing like this, then naturally, yeah, they're going to be like, okay, this motherfucker here, he is kind of special. So.
Instead, just like we saw with Historia a few moments prior, he forces himself to think that there is no other options left for him. That is, until he is asked, is it better to do nothing? Should they all simply wait and accept their deaths? Is that what Eren honestly wants? Because either way, the choice is his to make. And to be pretty fucking honest, he would rather not see his comrades die in front of him again.
Yeah.
ごめんなさい。最後に一度だけ許してほしい。自分を信じることを。
Eren cannot accept doing nothing, waiting for his end to arrive, because
Yeah.
that's how strong his desire to live is. It is his inherent character, his honest self. The part of him that pushes him to act no matter the circumstances. That is just how he was born. To quote Levi, no matter what cage he is put in, no matter how he is restrained, nothing can tame his willpower.
Yeah.
He truly is a real monster. Rather than doing nothing, Eren would much rather take the risk and make a gamble with his life at stake. So he stands up,
Excuse me.
runs forward, ready to transform, making a choice while believing in his own feelings.
Yeah.
He starts being honest to his own wants, and just for this once, tries trusting in himself. Yeah, I'm not. That word fucking scares me. I'm not gonna use it. To quote Sasha's father from a scene in Sasha's backstory, no one would throw away their own lives just to protect their identities. In the context of the scene, even if he has to give up his traditions and who he is, he still wants to live. Because living in this world is a privilege, because it is something special, it is not something that he can sacrifice.
Yeah.
In other words, he's afraid of dying. Everyone is. None
To
of
a
the
degree,
scouts marching
yeah.
towards their deaths felt how noble their sacrifices would be. In the end, they all felt fear. They all felt regret. It is that fear of death and regret that, when someone is forced to make a choice, pushes them to avoid responsibilities and to abandon their ancestry, their own morality, and even their own wants, their desires. And they're not wrong in doing that. After all, fear is a survival instinct. People afraid of Eren just wanted to survive. Marleyans are afraid of Eldians because they pose a threat to them.
Yeah.
Whenever someone's life is in danger, their minds get clouded with fear. So, what can fight that fear? Where can that strength come from? Well, I think the actual answer that the show gives us, and I'm not joking here, is that the strength comes from screaming. I'm not kidding, let me explain. Even though explaining something like the metaphoric role of screaming in Attack on Titan sounds difficult, at least without going extremely off topic, I kind of viscerally understand the point that Isayama was trying to make here. It is something internal. To scream within your heart, that strength to temporarily overcome fear and go beyond it, comes the strongest in times of desperation, for the sake of desires.
なんでか知らねえけど
I mean, I see what he's talking about, but it's one of those things to where it's like, okay, the whole screaming thing. I think it's more like, you know, the release of it. Like I'm not gonna be burdened by fear or the fear of making a choice. I'm not gonna be burdened by it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just release it all, and I'm just gonna scream. It's like frustrations, right? You know what I'm saying? How people always be like, release your frustrations, deep breathe in, you know, breathe out, stuff type thing. I think that's what the whole primal screaming is for, is the release of that fear of choice, right? And I think fear is definitely, I say, is a survival instinct, in a sense of when you break it down to its core, it is a survival instinct. But a lot of people, the reason being is because they don't make the choice based off of fear, and that is the fear of the unknown, because they don't know what exactly the choice will bring about, right? Like, you only know, especially if it's like a big deal, big choice, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, if you want to quit your job, right, and you want to quit your job and you want to move across state and you want to start over and start fresh, that's a big fucking deal. That's a big fucking choice. But what's keeping you, and most of the time, and I'm going to be honest with you, that's just in everyday life, what's keeping people in a lot of the situations that they're in is fear. It is fear. It is the fact of, you know, like he said, the survival instinct, in terms of like, you know what, I don't really want to move right now because I'm comfortable where I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thriving, but I'm comfortable to where I don't want to sit here and I don't want to root up every fucking thing that I know and just leave. Because if I was to do that, I don't know the outcome of that choice. I don't know what could happen if I were to decide to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and go to Indiana or wherever, and I'm just gonna uproot my life, uproot my family if you have one, and just go there and just make a better opportunity when you don't have a real plan. So yeah, I agree with that sentiment. But yeah, fear is definitely a survival instinct, but it's one of those, yeah, because it correlates with our survival, right? Because again, it's the fear of the unknown. You don't want to make a choice that could affect your life or their family's life detrimentally, and it be a detriment, right? You don't want to do that. So I agree.
返すためなら
Good point.
そう力が湧いてくるんだ
Someone's desire for something, their honest wants, or what can even be called their dreams. In Attack on Titan, this desire is the only thing truly inherent about a person. Case in point, Eren's monstrous desire for freedom. And for the sake of a desire that strong, comes an inner strength to fight for it. The first paragraph from the Return to Shiganshina arc in the manga tells us that what fuels this strength differs person to person. Some scream from pride, some are filled with hope, and some are filled with rage. For example, someone like Flock, okay, after the Eren charge, feels that he survived like a coward. And to disprove that by giving his life some sort of a purpose, he is pushed by his pride. On the other hand, Armin is filled with hope and courage when he thinks about the ocean. To quote a line from the theme song of Levi's OVA, you sing with hope, and the fear will be gone. In the case of Eren though, his strength comes from his rage, his hatred, his anger, and because of that rage, he can fight for his dream even after being faced with the ubiquitous fear of death and regret. That fear which comes with making a choice.
Yeah.
Not avoid it, mind you. Nah, everyone feels that fear in front of death, but simply overcome it as he himself puts his life ablaze. After all, nobody knows the outcome of a choice. Compared to those who choose to simply survive for no purpose, Eren, who lights his own life on fire for running after his dreams, is, in an odd way, much more alive. I'm not doing a great job explaining myself. I know, since I'd have preferred to use a much more mathematical approach towards this topic, but I feel for now they get the point across. To quote Hanji, if you really want to understand something you don't know, then just find it out. There's plenty of a reason to put your life on the line for that. For Eren, his own life is secondary to his incredible hunger for freedom. Better than fearing pain and doing nothing, no matter just how much he is suffering, Eren would still take a gamble even at the cost of the very thing he's chasing, if there's something, anything he can do to attain it. Children will cling to their very last coins. He has always been this simple-minded, and kind of suicidal. That is just how strong his desire is.
Yeah.
All this culminates beautifully in one of my all-time favorite scenes ever, the final scene in the episode, appropriately titled.
Hell no. No. Highly disagree. It's a cool scene, but it definitely
Called Scream. Those who cannot sacrifice their everything can't hope to achieve anything. If you don't fight, you cannot win. What matters is that will to fight, that instinct to retaliate. Because even without a perfect game plan or any clear course of action, if the last thing you'd want to accept is to sit on your ass and do nothing, then the best you can do is to think on your feet as you push forward. And when you finally see a glimmer of hope, a plan to fight back for what you want the most, your only choice is to stick to it no matter the cost. In case that the path to your dream is a path filled with corpses, if the cost is your very humanity, then those sins are what shall drive you. until you can pay back to those you have sinned, until you can atone to them and shoulder the responsibility of your choice, until you bring their forced sacrifice to fruition, you have to keep pushing forward. Even if that cost is your dream, till your fight isn't over, you must gamble on it as you fight, screaming within your heart. If we step back just because we lack the strength, then when are we ever going to win? To quote Erwin, when an enemy closes in, you don't hide with a shield, but step forward and attack with a spear. If that moment never comes, running away will only lead to pointless losses. The lives lost thus far would be meaningless. After all, every choice gains a meaning after the next one. Stuck in that path, the only thing you can do is to entrust your dream onto someone close to you. That is the sole way to rebel against the cruel world.
Yeah.
In case I didn't make it obvious, I'm talking about the events of Season 3 Part 2 that run in 3 to 4 prominent character arcs, parallel to each other and sort of lead to these implications. I'd honestly love to thoroughly analyze every single one of these scenes word by word, so tell me if you'd want to see that, because then I'd be a bit more motivated to make them. I'm going to make them regardless, it's just if you tell me to, I'll probably enjoy the process a bit more. Frankly, this entire section of the story is so dense that I can't possibly do it any sort of justice right now. But one thing I find really interesting is the direction that Eren's character begins to take somewhere around here. Part of what makes this scene so powerful for Eren is that here he's fighting for the wrong choice. A choice that is not for the greater good, and yet he isn't able to give up.
Yeah, that was a terrible choice. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, like that's a very terrible choice because, in my opinion, I think that in my honest opinion, I think Erwin should have gotten bought back. Not I think Erwin should have got bought back, not fucking Armin. I really don't think Armin should have been the one to bring back. I mean, I'm not really a big Armin fan. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm not a big Armin fan whatsoever. That's just me personally. That's just how I feel about Armin. I think Erwin was a better leader, and I think they tried to make Armin fit some way in there. Like I think Armin should have fucking just died, bro. Like in my opinion, but you know, hey, whatever.
Even till the very end, in fact. He's simply forced to accept Armin's death as an outcome for the greater good. And in that moment, finding himself completely powerless, he honestly admits that all this time, his reasons for fighting weren't to see the outside world, or the ocean, or any of that crap. Fundamentally, while vowing to eradicate the Titans, in the original Ippiki no Kuros moment, all he felt was hatred.
Yeah.
That is his true self. Nothing noble, nothing that fits his image of a hero, and nothing that he would consider right. He argues that someone like Armin fits the role of humanity's savior much better than... What the fuck is this? What is this? The basement reveal... Thanks for the massive support, by the way. The basement... the basement reveal, other than just being so freaking good, also hammers down a rather important concept for it.
The basement reveal was amazing. I love the basement reveal. The basement reveal was the best part, like in my opinion, because that changed the entire dynamic and flow of the entire show. Honestly, I think the basement reveal was crazy. It was crazy good, to be honest, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think, well, having got up to the point to where we are, I personally think at this point, I think Eren's choice was a lot. It was. See, I'm trying to stay within the context of this video, and I know that this video, I know this was made back in 3 months ago. I get that. So, with it being known back 3 months ago, I don't think they're gonna have like the new and latest, because they had to have done the video prior to releasing it. So I'm quite sure that it took a while to get it done, and I know that this doesn't have all of the anime in it. But as we all know, if you've seen it up to this point, I'm quite sure everybody has seen it. His choices are totally. I don't know. I think they would have a different video if they had everything in it. That's what I think, personally.
Eren, who had been forgetting his true instinct while chasing behind the righteous, it tells him that the right or wrong he has been so fixated upon doesn't even exist.
この世に真実などない。それが現実だ。誰だって神でも悪魔にでもなれる。
I know.
誰かがそれを真実だと言えばな。
Nothing is inherently right or wrong. Nobody is really special. Nothing is good or evil. Everything is manipulated, and everything.
Yeah, there's nothing, and that goes into a deep philosophy that I was thinking about too. When it comes to good and evil, good and evil are a matter of perspective, and if you really think about it, and you deep dive into it, that's actually true. A lot of people don't think about it like that. Like automatically, when people resort to good, the first thing that a lot of people think about is they think about, churches, they think about, superheroes, things like that, Superman, all that. They think of those people as good, as going in, jumping in front of a bus or jumping and grabbing somebody, and saving lives and shit like that. Like that is what people deem to be good. Like that is good. That is being a good person. You know what I'm saying? But in a war torn, let's say in a war torn society, well, not just destroyed by war, but what do you say when it comes to what's happening in Attack on Titan? Not everybody believes or acts the way like a bad person, right? So people are just dying. People are getting killed. Innocent people are getting killed. What's the justice for them? So it's one of those things to where it's like it's not like you said, it's not inherently good. Nothing is inherently good or evil. There was a quote that I absolutely loved. And this was in Batman v Superman. I hated the movie, but I loved the quote. And what happened was Lex Luthor was talking on the rooftop with Superman, and he was talking about the God, pretty much. He said it's not verbatim, but the gist of what he said was that no one can be all powerful and all good. And when he said that, I said, "Oh my goodness, that's crazy to think. That's absolute genius, because it is the absolute unequivocal truth. There's no way you can have all power and be all good, because there are going to be situations in terms of that don't flow in line with the good rhetoric, right? The good rhetoric that I mean. Sometimes innocent people are going to die. Sometimes innocent people are going to be sacrificed for maybe the bad person to get their just desserts or whatever that may be. But by you sacrificing those people and you sacrificing those innocent people, are you still considered good? Are you still considered to be a good person? Granted, you got the job done, but who did you have to step on in order to get that job completed? You stepped on innocent people and innocent lives and you did that. So are you in fact going to be deemed as good? But as he said, anybody can be a god or a demon. You just need enough people to believe it. So if enough people believe what you did is to be good, then they'll say it's good. But if enough people say that it's bad, then it means that it's bad. So with that question, then you have to ask, what is truth? What is truth? Because truth to me is just an amalgamation of agreements among individuals. See what I'm saying? So if I say that this sky is blue, right? If I look at the sky and say that the sky is blue, let's say I was the first person on Earth, and I say this sky is blue, right? If enough people agree with me and accept that the sky is blue, that's what we label it as. Is it in fact blue? We don't know. That's the thing. That's the concept that you start. This is the deep dive that you start going into when you start going down this rabbit hole. When you start pulling back the layers and things of that nature. These are things that I think about daily. Now, this might blow a lot of y'all's minds. I know you're like, what the fuck? Is he right? Is this true? Or what the fuck is going on? But if you think about it in a sense and you relate it to what he is saying nothing is inherently good or nothing is inherently evil. The only way something is deemed as that way is if you got enough people to believe it. Anybody can be a god or a demon. It's just, is there enough people to believe that? So at that point in time, is there enough people to believe what's going on? Because same thing, same prime example. Let's look at the fight let's look at the fight in the Middle East, right? The Middle Easterns that are over there, they're looking at us as the enemy. Because we came over there, we bombed them, we did all this and all that stuff that was going on back in the day, right? Going over there doing regime changes and all that stuff. They looked at us as the enemy. However, us on our side, we looked at us as we're the heroes. We're the liberators. We're the ones that's saving you. Whereas them over on the other side, from their perspective, they're like, no, you guys are the motherfucking bad people. You guys killed my family. You guys did this. You guys did this air raid and destroyed us. Perspective. Good and evil. Perspective. From their perspective, we're looked at as the bad guys. But from over here, the perspective is that, oh, we're the good guys. We're the heroes. Perspective, guys. Think about it.
Depends upon the point of view. I'm sorry, my throat's going really tired. I mean, for example, aren't Historia and Zeke exactly in the same situations, and don't they make the exact same choices? They both betray their parents and the responsibilities they were being pushed into and choose to protect themselves. And yet we celebrate one's choice and hate on the others. The actual fact of the matter is, the righteousness that Eren has been chasing is nothing more than an illusion of his surroundings. After all, everything he thought he had done for the greater good of mankind was, in fact, not the case. What Eren doesn't understand is that his goal isn't to be the savior of humanity, it is to fight for his freedom. And now that I've taken an excruciatingly long time to define terms like fear, an honest choice, a spirit of self-sacrifice, dreams, etc. in the context of the show, I can finally get into the last section of this video. About the time when Eren lost this true.
That's one of the greatest scenes in anime history right there. And like as I said, that's one of the greatest scenes in anime history. That was one of my favorite scenes in all history. Now we're getting into the meat and potatoes here. This is where we're getting to. This is when this character here it became one of the greatest characters in ever. Not just animated manga. I'm talking about ever. He became one of the best in the sense of everything that transpired afterwards. This man, yes. So let's see what you got to say. Let's keep it going. I know this is a lengthy video, guys. I do understand that, but bear with me. You guys gave me such huge support when it came to my understanding of Eren Yeager. Yeah, it just popped up on the screen again. Jesus. But this is where it's at. Let's get to it.
To self of his, with his dreams seeming impossibly far away, when freedom is nowhere in sight. Season 4 sends every aspect of Eren's character into overdrive. His complexity as a character and nuance becoming so much that you physically cannot talk about all of it. This season solidified him as my personal favorite character of all time, probably. The sequence of events surrounding the declaration of war, that is the Marley arc, also stands out in particular as some of the most impressive pieces of storytelling that I have ever seen.
Agreed.
Not to mention the entire beast that is Season 4 Part 2. I'll not cover that in this video. The tension in the conversation between Reiner and Eren, the questions the viewers have, the sheer stakes of the choices and the ambiguity of the intentions behind them all come together in a crescendo of what can only be described as
A legendary as fuck scene. But even more impressively, and in relation to the topics of this video, these events also stand as Eren's confrontation with himself. Like, we see something similar happen with Historia and, more importantly, Pastor Nick during the events of Season 2. He says that he wants to assess the real situation with his own eyes and then judge if he could stay true to his own principles. And for that, he decides to go to see the impacts of the supposed wall breach.
Right.
Maybe because the only one he can trust are his own eyes. And to do that, he even accompanies the Survey Corps, who are seen as the adversaries to their religion. Somebody like Gross, for example, admits that in his head he keeps a virtual barrier between himself and the Eldians that makes it easier for him to,
Kill.
do gross stuff. But unlike him, Nick just wants to see the truth. He doesn't want to fool himself any longer. He wants to be honest.
Yeah.
And in that scene, when he looks at that crowd, he has somewhat of a change of heart. Just to shy away from following through with anything in the end from the burden of a choice. And when Eren goes to Marley, he's put in the same position. Okay, look at it this way. Both Eren's intentions for going to Marley and what he experiences after living there are exactly the same as those of another characters in a previous section of the story. Like I said, every character's arc in the show intersects with Eren's at one point or the other. He no longer wants to remain powerless and do nothing. He too wants to see the real situation up close, and on doing so, he too has a change of heart in his own right.
He doesn't. No. But again, no. What it is, in that sense, he doesn't have a change of heart. Because he still did what he did. And the reason he did what he did is because what he was doing, I don't think he got to it yet, but it's in the anime. Y'all watch the anime. I'm not going any further than that, so I'll just stick with the anime. But I did say I was going to stick to whatever was in the video, didn't I? Damn it. But we all know that's not the case, so let's continue.
He feels bad for the people living there and realizes that the walls and what lied beyond them were both the same. Damaged minds and bodies, their freedoms taken away, even losing their own identities. Nobody would make a choice knowing such an outcome. But most people are pushed into this hell by something. That something isn't their choice, it is out of their reach. It is either their situation or someone else that forces them to act. But precisely because it is out of their control, in the end, they can have no regrets. They're victims themselves. No matter what they have done, they can't be blamed for it. By others or even by themselves, they wouldn't be in the wrong. So, in a way, not having a choice to make is comfortable. But there are also people who push themselves into that hell. Those people are after something that lies beyond that hell. To grasp it, they must first plunge into darkness, and there is still a chance that instead of seeing the light of hope, they might just end up in a worse hell than before. A hell where they're forever pained by regret. The outcome of a choice like this is uncertain. To be frank, it's just a gamble.
Yeah.
But in order to find out, in order to do something, they must move forward. I feel a lot of people misinterpret Eren's character here. He doesn't say all this to Falco because he's an all-knowing being who finally understands the truth about this world, or because he has developed into the ultimate badass. He says it because he's afraid. Try to get into Eren's mind right now, alright? The want for freedom that had actually driven him this far, that freedom now feels unattainable. I'll go into depth.
No, it's very attainable. That freedom is very attainable. It's very attainable. Since you showing all this, then that means you kind of already know. Now that freedom is attainable. It's the fact that he doesn't really want to do what he knows he has to do. So again, I know that biting bears. I know that they didn't cover that in this video. However, that is not the case. The case is that he did everything. What he was doing was he was trying to convince himself in every that's the beauty of the story. That's the beauty of that story. is that he was trying to convince himself at every moment to try to convince himself that he didn't have to do what he knew needed to be done. That's what that came into be. That's what that was about. That's exactly what it was about. You know, it wasn't because he may have been. He wasn't scared of the outcome. He just didn't want to do it because he knew what it would do to him. That's why. So, yeah.
It's about what his freedom really even means someday later. Partly because I don't even know myself. Like how a line in the new ending song mentions that his freedom would mean nothing without a place to return to. His home, symbolized by the character of Mikasa pretty much. And even counting in his behavior from when he couldn't give up on Armin, etc. But the way the world is, that freedom of his has been completely locked away. And in order to change the world, whatever the fuck his plan is, I don't know right now, he has to gamble on that freedom, and even then the chances of actually winning are next to none. If anything, he will just end up suffocating under the responsibilities of those he would have sinned. Making a choice like that will surely lead to nothing but regret. After all, he can look into the future. Looking around him, he sees how scary regret can be. And he lacks the courage to make a choice that he knows he would end up regretting. The line that hits the
No, it's not. It's not the fact. It's not even that, man. It's not that he lacks the courage of that. He just doesn't want to do it. And it's not even. I mean, like, because again, what he has to do is going to be so devastating. Since you're showing pieces of it, he's showing images of it. You know it has to be done. You know what he's going to be doing. He doesn't really want to do it because, again, that is not the character in which he is. He's just not a cold-blooded murderer. That's the problem. That's why he looks so sad all the time, because of the simple fact that he knows the outcome, but he's trying to look at other alternatives in order to avoid said outcome because he doesn't want to do it. That's just what it is. He doesn't want to do it. It's not that, like, I don't have the courage to do it. It's like, who the fuck wants to do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, who wants to be like, man, I'm finna wipe out, I'm finna kill everything. Right? Like, whatever that, like, nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. You know what I'm saying? But it's one of those things to where, again, the story shows so much of it that okay, whatever. I'm going too far. I digress.
Really hard is when Eren's grandfather tells him to go spend time with his family. Why do something that would leave him with nothing but regret? Essentially, he has been soft-locked. And realizing that his dream will never be fulfilled, thinking that he has no other choice but to sit and do nothing as he waits for his end, realizing that his life will end in such a meaningless way, pains him enough to the point where he'd want to die and simply end that pain. In a desperate attempt to give any sort of meaning to his life, he tries to fulfill his duty as the savior of humanity. He tries to become a tragic hero. Or maybe when faced with this much suffering, he somewhat starts believing in the whole philosophy of not being born is the greatest salvation. Whatever it is, he thinks about following through with Zeke's euthanization plan. But what I like about Eren's character, and what I think also makes him rather unique, is that his mental state for the savior of humanity is ugly. Or I guess the better term for that would be miserable. That is because nobody wants to give up on their dreams and die. His mental state is a constantly bouncing ping ball between what he thinks would be meaningful or meaningless and what he really wants. According to what he sees in the future, his fight for his desires would definitely have a completely meaningless ending. But without fighting...
No. No, it ain't gonna have a meaningless ending. No, hell no. It ain't gonna have no meaningless ending. And not even close. Yeah. It's not even close. No, I ain't gonna have no meaningless ending. Now again, I'm reacting to the video, guys. I'm just reacting to this.
For his freedom, he also lacks any sort of driving force. So he talks to someone who he can empathize with. Someone who needs to hear what he himself needs to hear. When he sees Falco depressed over not being able to do a thing, Eren sees a glimpse of himself in him. He talks to Falco, intending that what he says ends up inducing the same effect on his own self, saying what he himself heard from Reiner out loud so that he can understand the true weight of those words. In that scene, he's equal parts talking to Falco
as he's talking to himself.
Maybe so.
Seeing Falco ready to sacrifice himself for something he wants to protect, that inspires him.
Yeah.
In a way, talking to Falco saves him. The way I see it, Eren isn't an edgelord, but on the inside, he's weak. He is desperate. I always wondered what was it.
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think again, it goes into, once you understand the full dynamic of everything, it goes into the sheer fact that he doesn't want to do what he knows he has to do. That's it. There's no big philosophical, ideology behind that. It's the reality, because that is ingrained in him. He's a good, deep down, Eren's a good person. He's a good soul. So he doesn't want to do what he knows that needs to be done. Or not needs to be done, but he doesn't want to do the choice in which, we all know, right? So he doesn't want to do that. So I think that's just what it is. And I think that he's saying that to a degree. Like I said, I do agree that he was told while he was talking to Falco, he was kind of reassuring himself too, like, you know what I'm saying, so we just gotta keep going. You know what I'm saying? Some things just drive us beyond it. And I think, different circumstances and situations drive people to make these choices, and we just gotta keep pushing forward. So yeah, I think he was, with himself on that.
Eren's reasoning for talking to Reiner. I mean, what would he even gain out of it? But I feel I kind of get it now. He wants to understand himself. And for that, he confronts someone similar to him. Someone who has done the same things that he is about to do. He confronts Reiner, and in that process, also confronts himself. And the result? When Eren purposefully tries to suggest Reiner as a victim of his circumstances, much like how Zeke pushes the idea that Eren is also a brainwash victim, Reiner breaks down. He falls onto his knees, apologizing as he confesses that his actions were selfish. His actions weren't caused by his history or circumstances, he had been pushing his own back.
Yeah.
From this, Eren learns that all his actions weren't caused because of others either, it was all caused by his own selfish desires. Those are the choices he would have made no matter what. He has always been just him. They both have always been just them, ever since they were born. And because of his choices, Reiner was now stuck under the weight of his sins. Sins he could never atone for. Regrets that drive him insane.
Yeah.
To Eren, this must remind him of that phrase, "Why leave yourself with nothing but regret?"
If Eren does what he wants to, if he acts honestly, then he will reach the prophesized bad end. And like what he learns, if he's acting from his free will, then that makes him responsible for his actions and thus vulnerable to regret.
Reiner's reaction shows him the result of the gamble he's about to make. The worst hell filled with nothing but regret. It is scary. Nobody would make a choice knowing such an outcome. The outcome is right in front of him. Fear takes hold of Eren once again. Until it all finally clicks. The reason that being soft-logged out of his freedom pains Eren so much, to the point where he'd want to vanish and simply end this misery, is because deep down, he honestly just wants to live.
Yeah, he does.
俺を殺してくれ。ですが、私は死にたくありません。それは私がこの世に生まれてきてしまったからです。
Eren finally sees a ray of hope beyond his hell. It is in that moment when his monstrous desire for freedom returns. He doesn't have a plan to fulfill his goal, but he's going to make the choice that he honestly wants to. Even if there's no meaning in it, he has the right to be honest to himself because he was born into this world. He will give his own meanings to his actions because he was given a chance. And in that case, the best he can do is to come up with a plan on his feet. He will not accept simply doing nothing because if you don't fight, you cannot win. If you cannot sacrifice your everything, you also can't hope to achieve anything.
He fights with his life and the lives of those he cares about, both on the line for the sake of those lives. The strength to make such a gamble comes when he thinks about fighting for his freedom, as his rage overcomes his fear, as he metaphorically, or even literally, screams. Just like he did in Chapter 2, Chapter 10, Chapter 50, and once again in Chapter 100. He fully intends to fight the entire world and even come back alive. In a way, that choice is suicide. But if there's no desire to come back out alive, you're zero. Okay, I'll stop. That's how much courage his immense desires provide him with, while he makes the choice to move forward until his enemies are destroyed. To make a choice that he knows he would regret.
Well, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, yeah, I agree, but yeah, it clicked in him at that point. Like I said, with that particular point, that was awesome because of the simple fact that at that point it was particularly awesome because he was there to try to understand and speak with Ryan. Right? I think he wanted some type of last. He wanted some type of last ditch effort once again. That's not when it clicked. When he clicked was when he applauded. The reason he looked that way is because of the simple fact that he said, "Hey, I was born to this world." So he basically spoke the mantra that Eren has been speaking all his life. So that's why he was like, "Oh, wait a minute, we may have a winner here, guys." In terms of like, this may be an alternative. But then once he went ahead and just continued, and Willie Tybalt was like, "I want to go in and kill all these folks, kill all the folks on Paradise Island." That's why he did. That's why he looked down and he said, and he stood up. Because he was like, "Look, I'm trying to find different ways of doing this. I don't want to do what I know what I'm doing. But if I don't have another alternative, I got to do it." And that was what that was. That's what clicked. Not it clicked all of a sudden. He just said, "Oh, I was born to this world. You right. I want to be free again." No, it was because he said, "I was born to this world." That gave him a surprise because he spoke the same mantra as him. But he wanted more. He wanted to be like, okay. That's why he kept listening. That's why he was underneath that, because he kept listening. He wanted to be close to it because they could have met anywhere else. But he met him there because he wanted to be right directly on the stage so he can listen in and then he can make his plan from there. And the fact that the dude still wanted to kill everybody and still wanted to kill everybody on the island, that's what threw him. Sorry, guys. That's what threw him. And that's what made him be like, okay, you know what? I gotta go. I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta do this. So that's what that was. So again, yeah.
Nah. To make a choice that he doesn't want to regret. Not this either. Yes, to make a choice without the fear of regret. That is the choice of Eren Yeager. And the outcome of that choice, well, that is something we have yet to see. And that's the video. Making this took me a lot of effort. It was an actual nightmare and took me more time than anything I'm happy admitting. But I seriously hope you guys enjoyed it. A quick little update for people who actually care. This video isn't my comeback to being fully active again quite yet, because I haven't been uploading because life has been busy, and
absolutely.
As a student, I'm at a critical point where every one of my upcoming exams is something I want to focus on. For the next 5 to 6 months, I'll try to distance myself from making videos as much as possible. But in case I get some free time and make a video, it'll be based on one of these 6 animes. Little something to look forward to, I guess. Also, the final season part 2 is currently airing and I'm loving every bit of it. You can come on over, follow me on Twitter, because I'm actually more active there. And with all that said,
I don't have much more to say. I'm not gonna bore you.
Yeah.
That's all from me. I have to say ya. See ya. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, that was pretty that was pretty good. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I did. I think definitely they went with Barry's here went with definitely a larger philosophical type meaning and type way about it. I personally just think I think a lot of his points were valid. I think a lot of the points were true. And in a sense, it was just he basically talked about it in another way, another type of roundabout way. But overall, I think it was a solid content video. I really do. I really do. I just think that when it comes to the certain things, like you won't get a full understanding of it until you read the entirety of it or you know everything. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm gonna love when they get to certain parts that are beyond that's in the anime, and I want to see if any of their thought processes changes, which I'm quite sure it will. I'm quite sure it will. Like I'm about 100% sure it will, because again, this is coming from somebody speaking who's seen the anime, of course, but has also read the manga and is already done with the manga. So this is coming from me. So I know everything that is to transpire. You know what I'm saying? Basically, I am Eren Yeager. Exactly. But I kind of already know that. So it's just one of those things to where the way that I'm speaking in this video and referencing things that are being referenced in the video, it's coming from somebody who already kind of knows. So again, my interpretation of everything is going to be a lot more complete because I know the full story. Whereas we're going just based off of the situations that, and for the most part, I agree with everything that he was going up with when he came to the whole Eren's choice, the choice of Eren Yeager, and different things like that. I want to say honestly, like it really, I think I was expecting something a lot different when it came to this. I think I was expecting, by that saying the choice of Eren Yeager, I think I was expecting this. I was thinking I was expecting a video explaining about why he made the choice he made. And to me, it just didn't really go into that. It was a great video, but I don't think it really went too deep into the philosophies as to why he made the choice. Like, it kind of touched on the things of saying, like, okay, well, he strived for freedom and stuff, but they went into a lot of backstory in terms of, like, the evolution of choice and, what that actually entailed and stuff like that. Like, but again, I think his choice can be basically summarized in that he did what he had to do because of the scenarios in which he was thrown into. There were times, yeah, I agree, he wouldn't make the choice. He wouldn't make the choice that, he knew he had to make. But it was because of fear. It was the fear of the unknown, as I spoke about earlier. That's the reason he didn't make certain choices, because he was fearful of the outcome. So I do agree with him on that point. But like I said, the video was great. The video was solid. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, this is a super lengthy video yet again. Again, shout out to Miko19 for providing me with this and giving me this to watch. Guys, follow their lead. Send me stuff, comment, let me know if there's another video you want me to react to, and I will definitely do it. I'm telling you, when I say I'm a man/God of my word, I will do it. I promise you. But anyway, guys, as always, continue to like, comment, subscribe, most importantly, share. Again, I'm trying to grow the channel, and it's great to get feedback such as that in different comments to kind of let me know if things can be tweaked, or again, if you want me to react to certain videos. I will be forever changing and honestly evolving the contents of these different videos and stuff like that. But again, as I said, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell when you know that I'm post a new video, and also share it, guys. Why? Again, it's because all that is free. It doesn't cost you a goddamn dime. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. I appreciate it. And yeah, let's continue having fun. I'm out.